Well, we'll move ahead and I'll come back with
Apologies.
again. This is a really important part. This is really the 2022 Tech Trek campus. And I was so excited to have you this year. It's a funny thing. We've got 22 Tech Trek campus in 2022. We draw from 5 local schools, middle schools, Earl Warren, Carmel Valley, Pacific Trails, Degania Middle School and Oakcrest Middle School. And how it happens, we've been working with these schools for more than 10 years, except for perhaps one of the newer ones. And we work with the teachers, the science and math teachers there with the permission of the school principals. And we ask them to recommend people to people who they think would benefit from the camp and people who love science and they feel can manage the camp. You know, they're a bit independent and they're hard workers. And the teachers give us recommendations and they say what everybody's strengths are. And then the students go and fill in an application form, which includes essay and their previous experience or not with Tech Trek. You don't have to have, I mean, with technical things, you don't have to have experience to come to Tech Trek. You've got to be interested and you've got to want to do it. And so we reviewed, a team of about 6 of us all up, reviewed all the teachers' applications and all of the students' essays and comments. And we met and ranked everybody. And these are the 22 fabulous girls that we've selected to go on the camp this year. Really quite an exceptional group of girls. We're very proud of you all. And give your teachers a thank you for recommending you because they think a lot of you, I'll tell you that. So congratulations. It's a really wonderful thing that you'll be doing this year. This one you might think that's kind of boring. It's probably the most important slide in the pack. This is a slide of the AAUW members and family who have donated money to pay for all of the girls to go to camp. You couldn't go to camp at all with us if we didn't have these people who donated. And we are so appreciative of you. And we want to say thank you very much to our donors. You help us to realize something that's a really great thing for a lot of girls. I happened to bump into a girl who's studying medicine and she heard me say something about AAUW and she said, oh, Tech Trek. I went to Tech Trek. She's almost 30 and she was talking about that. And she said to me, I've still got my name card on the back of my bedroom door. I love Tech Trek. It really changed my life. And next year she's going to come and talk at this meeting. So, you know, it's just amazing how many people have really had great impact from Tech Trek. And thank you again to our donors. We'll try again. Will we try again with you, Romy?
Let's hope it lets me now.
Yes, you've done it. Well done.
Awesome. Yes, even young people can have technical issues.
Well, that was a very sensitive comment. I do want to say something about this presentation. It says engineer process improvement. And I want to say it doesn't matter what job you've got. Every job benefits from looking at your processes and improving them. So don't think, oh, I'm not going to be an engineer. I'm going to be a marine scientist. You'll be doing engineering, you'll be doing process improvement in that job. It's a very universal thing. Thank you, Romy.
Yes, it is a very universal thing. And this presentation is partially about sharing what I do, but partially about interactive and sharing like the engineering problem solving method, which is just a problem solving approach that can be useful in any area of life. I think it's so Fantastic. So I'll just jump right in. This is me. I went to Tech Trek in 2010. Like I said, I did physics. There's middle schooler me. After Tech Trek, I got really involved in my high school's robotics team. And that's where I started to get an interest in engineering as like a broader subject, engineering management, because I frequently found myself in outreach roles or roles where I was trying to get the team to work together. After school, I went to get my industrial engineering degree at Montana State. I actually started off in electrical and thought, I want to think more big picture. So industrial engineering is all about if you can describe it as a process, we can make it better, faster, more efficient, less expensive, all of that improvement. And I continue to do volunteering for girls in science organizations and science outreach programs while I was in school. While I was in school, I also met my partner, and we both got internship opportunities at Boeing. So this is a photo of us from marching in the Seattle Pride Parade with Boeing. During our internship year, we were both lucky enough to get job offers to come back and have worked at Boeing for the last 3 years. I'm an industrial engineer there, and he's on aerodynamics, doing the shape of the airplane. And then just recently this year, I've kind of brought my story full circle with robotics by volunteering with a local team called Otter Chaos. They placed 18th in the Pacific Northwest Championship, and I'm just super proud of them. It's been a really fun journey. Now, I want to start this slide with a shout out to Sally, who had an incredible career. And for those of you who don't know Boeing terms, being a Boeing Technical Fellow is an incredible recognition and honor of technical expertise. It means that you are not only at the top of your game technically, but that you are coaching and training others, and you're building the next generation of technical experts and paving the way for women. So thank you to Sally. This is the second year that Boeing's done a diversity report. I shared it last year, and I thought it'd be interesting to share an update. But right now, the company is at 23% women, 16.8% of them are in engineering, and a 19% executive council. All of those numbers have had small increases from 2021, but increases still good to see. Boeing is also one of the top ranked companies for Diversity Inc. Within the aerospace sector. But I'd also say, if you're interested in looking at like, hey, what companies out there really support women in science, really support LGBT people, really support ethnic minorities and disabled people, Diversity Inc. is a fantastic site to see which companies in all industries are making those investments in improving diversity at a corporate level. I think it's really cool that among the aerospace companies listed on the list, all of them have improved ratings from last year. And overall, this is from 2019, percentage of women employed in STEM fields. Engineering is still at the lowest percentage, which there are lots of fantastic options in STEM, but personally, I'm a little biased. I really enjoy being an engineer. So my job in particular, I work at the Everett Delivery Center in Boeing, Seattle. So there's the really big factory that makes all of your twin aisle airplanes. So that means there's a set of seats, aisle, set of seats, aisle, set of seats. Those are usually your larger airplanes for long haul flights. Also responsible for a lot of shipping that happens. When you hear about supply chain, a lot of that cargo is on airplanes, either passenger or fully cargo planes that come out of our Everett site. So once they roll out of the factory, they come over to the delivery center where we have to do all of the final integrated tests of the airplanes, make sure that it's ready to fuel, it's ready to do a test flight. And our customers are then invited to come over, check out the airplane, do their own test flight on it before they finally sign over papers, do the final payments, and deliver. So as an industrial engineer at the delivery center, you kind of have two responsibilities. Responsibility one is maintaining the schedule for all of those events so that people know exactly when they need to show up for things. And then improving that schedule. So now that we know what work needs to be done, is there any way we can do it faster or more reliably or more cost effectively? I know some of our programs struggle with an airplane rolls out of the factory, it should be ready to go, but we might have to, as we're testing, there's a part that needs to get reworked and reinstalled. So how do we communicate with our factory partners to make sure that those issues get solved further upstream? And all of that is accomplished through our Boeing problem-solving model. Now, this is the particular branded image I'm used to working with most frequently, but there are lots of different formats of the engineering problem-solving model that I think still boil down to essentially this information. And this is like day in, day out, problem solving is what we do. So step one of the problem solving model, you have to define your problem. And honestly, this is the hardest thing for engineers because they're creative people and we want to solve problems. That's the goal, right? So immediately people are jumping to a solution. They're jumping to, oh, well, why is this happening? And you got to stop that. Step one is defining the problem. You can't know why something is happening until you have a really, really good description of what is happening. So that's our gap between our current and our ideal state. What's happening now? What do we want to happen? And you find those problems, usually data analytics, going out onto the field and just talking with people who are doing the work, or going and observing the process. I've found initiations for projects in all of those ways. So I do want to have this be a little bit interactive. So can a future tech trekker shout out an example of a problem for us to work with during the presentation? It can be really simple, like a problem that you deal with at home, an assignment that you had at school. Like I said, this process can be applied to anything.
Even your toaster.
I had a lot of early assignments in school about the best way to configure your kitchen to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Not kidding. We wrote out all of the steps. We drew maps of the kitchens and then said, okay, well, if you're going back and forth to all these places, it might be better to locate the toaster over here. Okay. Well, we don't have to, but just be thinking in your brain of a small problem you have at home as we go through. So now you've got this fantastic problem statement that says exactly what's happening right now. You then examine why. Now, there are lots of great ways to examine why, but easiest and most go-to is basically just being a toddler for a moment. You ask why a bunch of different times. So you have your problem. Okay, well, why is that happening? Well, why is that happening?